Yes, that was the voice of Lalo Keba Drame, rest in peace, and all we loved ones. Greetings, Guy Nimbarangi Kontombake. Yes, I'm here with my big son, I call it, but the man is a doctor already. So I say, hello, Mr. Kejane. Inimbare ular nge kontong salola follow.
Thank you very much, Ndimma. But yes. Keno Kianko La Alpha de Cananina or Ayame.
Okay, well, maybe Yalom Bilim Corona at a cool way Falinta. Everything changed in this time, so it could change. What before foundation till now, till them formality.
Anyway, Barakabake, thank you. I am very happy you invite me. Ila program auto anum fanambe konton na sarola. Alama alay mbela junbul kafar. Ay na small muta ay na small muta.
Amin ya.
Aken yana fati anin na wulul albe. Ay ke hamadu molbe na fati sako muslim molbe.
Amin ya.
I'm happy to be with you.
Alama dua jabila. Yes, I thank you. Ini mbara dua nyi ada alama jabila alama alaya talante ma yafute.
Amin Allah.
Sungol nin salon nin duwal be jabe alayam abe sanji jama baka tamolla nga sungkaro ani jade kende ayalo kuma da jade kende ya alama wala fala be. Yes, I. So it's a big pleasure. We will talk both in English and in Mandingo and even Wolof. So, and then the listeners out there, those watching, the topic is like we say development, unity, and education. I never did something like this before. So today, anywhere you are in this world, it can be tonight or in the morning, anywhere you are in this world you are watching, because we are live on YouTube and Facebook. So yeah, if you have a question for my brother here, Dr. Janeh, you can send us question to come. But the topic focus on development, unity, and education. Later, Mr. Janeh will help me and define that for me in Mandingo. What is development? What is unity? And what is education in Mandingo then later. But for now, we will generalize it and take it to the whole Africa, not only about Senegambia. We will talk about the development, how we can develop ourselves in Senegambia and the rest of the world to Africa. But today we base it more on Africa, development, education, and unity. Yes, Mr. Janeh, first we will start it like this. I would love you to introduce yourself to the listeners out there. Because me, myself, personally, I was surprised to see that Dr. title with you. By knowing you, meeting you one few times already in Vienna, Austria, with your that humble being, I never know that you are a doctor. So it's a pleasure to have you here as my first guest with this topic called development, unity, and education. Yes, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Like you rightly said, my name is Dr. LAMIN JANNEH. The doctor is yet to be official. I just obtained my doctorate degree at Vienna University, Univin, where I studied communication, media, and international development as my PhD. Prior to the PhD, I had a very, what will I say, a unique academic history. Because my path in education is not the normal path most people are used to in the Gambia. I have never sat in any English formal school from primary 1 to grade 12.
Okay.
I began my education as the normal way. You know, I am Janeh. The Janeh are known to be the Muribal, they will call it.
Definitely.
So at a very tender age, my dad started teaching me how to read the Quran. And when I finished the Quran, I believe I should have been somewhere around 12, 13, not memorizing it, but just to be able to read it.
Thank you.
Then I was further sent to Sifo. The late Muhammad Lamin Janeh was my ustaz. I was sent to him where I further translate the Quran into Mandinka language. And I also learned some other Islamic books that were very common to be the practice back in the days. So from there, I came back home in LAMIN, where I learned Caribbean Islamic Institution, from which then I obtained an online scholarship at a university in Egypt, and I did a bachelor's degree, but that was supposed to be in Sharia. I was supposed to study Sharia, but looking at the country that I come from, looking at some of the things, I made a personal decision to say, instead of Sharia, I would study mass communication. So there and then I began to study a proper formal educational structure in English language. So it was a bit tough, but I think here I am now with a PhD in English.
Respect that. Yeah. Respect that. I would really love to understand that more still. What was your educational process? You didn't go to the primary school, middle school, high school. Tell me how does it start? Because I didn't understand how the normal system, and you had a system that you go through, kinda, if I'm understanding. But please make us know it well what you mean.
The issue is I come from a family that does not believe in the Western education.
Wow.
It has been a tradition in my family. We have to read the Quran and be dedicated to Islamic studies and Islamic preaching. So because of that fact, I was not able to go to primary school through the English system. Because most often time people misunderstood education and they limit it to only those that went to English school in the Gambia. That's the reason why so many Arabic products in the Gambia are still categorized to be as those that have never been to school, because they do not go to the traditionally known educational system. Conventional way of learning, where you go to primary 1 in English and primary 2, then you go to grade 6, you sit to your common entrance, and then you proceed to middle school and then to high school. So I do not have the luxury to do all of that. But funnily, most people from LAMIN who I grew up with, who are a bit far distant from me, they all believe that I graduate from St. Peter's. The reason is, when my mates are going to St. Peter's to study, I used to go along with them, and I have my books. I remember back in the days, the Brighter Grammar, I had all the books of Brighter Grammar from volume 1 to 5. I had all of it. And I was so much prone to reading. I love reading. So I taught myself how to read. I don't have any teacher that taught me how to read English language, nor do I have any English tutor that teach me how to speak English language when I was young. But I was still able to communicate with my mates because all of them were going to English school. I was the only person that was not going through the formal educational structure as it then perceived to be.
Wow.
So this is how I was able to build up myself through the English language. And when I had the opportunity to do the bachelor's degree, I had to go through what they call assessment program.
Cool.
Understanding that I come from an Arabic background, they wanted to make sure that I am able to understand, digest, and contextualize the language that will be used in tutoring the bachelor's degree. But fortunately, again, it was very easy. I believe what our fathers used to say, if you start your education with the way, perhaps it makes life easier for you in so many other ways. I do not know whether it's a myth, but it do for me.
I will be evidence to that. Then I will say that is something true now, because talking about your own educational background, how it started, and the way you go through, and the English you just came in, and till you reach at this level is like we're talking about master, still a doctor. It's something true that if you started with Arabic, then English is like something, I think the Arabic language is much more difficult than the English. So if you can do the Arabic, then the English can be much more easier. I'm with you. All people say it, and it's said in Gambia, then if you started with Arab, English come better. Thank you. Then we go on still from where you will say it was the middle school or the higher school. Where did you start the normal educational system?
I had been through the normal educational system. What I'm trying to distinguish here is the perception that people like us that start our education in Arabic school do not go to school. It's still a normal and a formal educational system. It's just different. We were taught the same subjects like those that were going to English school. Like we're taught science, social science, mathematics. We were taught maths. We were taught virtually every other courses that English curriculums do have. In addition to that, we also have certain courses that were not taught in English schools. Like we have the Islamic ones, and we also have the doctrines of Islam. We have the Quranic ones, and so on and so forth. But I think one of the biggest advantage for some of us that began our academic journey through the Arabic one, most of the Arabic subjects, you need to cram them. You don't really need to understand them. The Arabic educational system is structured in such a way that cramming becomes very integral part of it. You will hardly succeed in an Arabic school if you are not good at cramming things. You have to be able to store information, and you have to be able to remember them all the time. So whereas in English, particularly if you are not specialized in certain technical fields, You just need to understand them. So that's the difference. And if you are used to cramming 10 books in 1 year, imagine if you're giving 5 books that you need to understand. It becomes very easy if you have a basis in the particular language through which the particular lectures will be administered.
Wow. Big respect. Thank you so much. It's a good thing to know myself. I'm learning from you today, because after knowing you, sometimes I am knowing things that I never know. So you don't talk easily, and that is, it's a humbleness. It's respected. Good. We're still gonna go on this educational system. Normally, I say development, unity, and education, but our thing just start naturally on education. And then you as an Arabic student, now starting as an Arabic student, and then now you already achieve your doctors in English. So we can just continue to talk about the educational system. Then internationally, so say not only Senegambia, what do you think African we should do to make our educational system better?
Thank you very much. This is a very important question. I am very certain that I might not be able to give the concrete way as to how it has to be done, because it's a major issue that needs vigorous scrutiny. But I could also share my own little opinion based on my own personal experiences and how I think we can do better. It's difficult to put Africa into one fold. The fact that Africa is a very huge continent with a very large population and often diverse groups and different academic approaches. So it will be very difficult for us to have one specific model that could work for everyone. I belong to people that believe that education should not be globally standardized as to how it is today. For example, if you look at the entire West Africa, they just have one particular curriculum that every other person is teaching in their countries. To me, that's not a good idea. But this is my personal opinion. I believe that education needs to be customized. Every country needs to be able to customize their syllabus in accordance to what is fitting in their particular situation. But the first thing that I think we need to do away with is the Western way of education. We need to rewrite our syllabus. We need to understand what information we need to teach our younger generation. We need to create a better and a robust educational infrastructure that will not only be building structures, but building capacity of people that will be educators of the young generation. Education goes beyond building schools. Education goes beyond having a college where people are taught how to go and teach. But education has to begin from a tender age. The society needs to understand the importance of education. So as we will be able to demand a fitting educational structure that will be able to create a human capacity that will then lead to what you are talking about. You said your topic today is education, unity, and development.
Thank you.
Most of the time, development is my specialty and communication. I have been doing that for quite a while now. But in the area of development, let's just look at it from West Africa, where I can speak more. Pleasure to travel to so many West African countries, if not all of it. I also had an opportunity to work with organizations such as ACUNS, where we deal with education and academic issues. So I had the pleasure to meet with so many people, but education had been widely miscontextualized in most African countries, particularly in West Africa. Things are pre-designed for us, to us, that are not our reality, and we don't have any scientific proof that ascertain to us that our younger generation, this will be useful to our younger generation when they become adults. So we end up creating people or producing people that will read a lot of books, have access to a lot of information, but becomes expert to nothing. Because because we over expose them to unnecessary informations that in reality will not amount to any productivity or even set their minds to become progressive in development. So that would be a useless way of educating our people. And I think that trend is still continuing in most African countries, most especially the West African countries.
Sure. Okay. Wow. So what do you think? What are the ways? Like, okay, now we will go back to Gambia, where we come from. Do you think can we bring back, like we say, okay, Mandingo or Wolof into our school system? You think that's something is late already, or is something still possible?
But there is nothing that is late as far as life is concerned. If you are building a structure, you are not building it to benefit only you. You want it to predate, to post-date you. You want the particular structure to be there when you are long gone. So when we are trying to build developmental infrastructures or systems, we are not building it for only today's generation. We are also building it for people that are yet on board. So I do believe that Africa need to rewrite their own curriculums, and Africa need to introduce lessons in their own languages. If you do not understand your language, you do not understand your own self.
Thank you.
There is a very strong tie between who you are and your roots and the language that you speak.
Sure.
This is very important. So I do believe strongly that Mandinka, our Fula, our Jola, our Karolinka, our Serals, these need to be introduced into our curriculums. Kids need to understand what these things are, and we need to reintroduce them. In fact, if possible, it has to be a plan in the Gambia for our national language to go back to a particular language where a majority of Gambians will be comfortable with, and then we use it as a second national language, because it's important.
Definitely.
It's very important.
Right. Like you said, it's like what you can say, like somebody like me, if I want to express myself, I think in Mandingo I will be fast than English. I want to express myself. So the time we are taking to learn that English, if we just take that time to develop ourselves with skills, not to be learning a new language, then it's like we will have more time or more skills than the time we are spending to learn this English language alone. It takes us years. And normally if we started with Mandingo, then it's gonna be like, okay, you just start it and it's just starting it with a skills to go on. Something like this, I don't know if you know the political part of that. If we want to introduce something like this, where and who should do something like this, you think? Because I have no idea. Is it the parliament or the president has to come up this, or the minister of education? Somebody somewhere has to start it, and then the people check it out. Is it going to be a referendum? If the people are ready for this type of changes, the citizens can decide later, but it has to start from somewhere. Where do you think this thing has to start from?
I think it has already begun. For a typical example will be what we're doing right now. These kind of things are what had a potential to shape policies. Policy making does not only stay in the shoulder of politicians, parliamentarians, or people working within government. Even ordinary citizens can come up with policies. Policies are sometimes directly written, sometimes they are influenced.
Wow.
You having this conversation with me today, who knows, probably a parliamentarian might be watching, probably relate to some of the things that we're saying here, can also see it to be something that could be impactful if he can influence a bill. So anybody can influence a policy, and legally also through our constitution. Again, I am not a constitutional lawyer, nor am I an expert. But at least we all have few issues here and there that we are conversant with when it comes to constitution. So I know in the Gambian law, every citizen can come up with a bill.
Wow.
I can sit here and think, okay, including our national language into our educational system is good. I can write a bill and introduce it to my parliamentarian. I can write a bill and introduce it to my parliamentarian and say, this is an idea that I have, and I want you to go and send it to the parliament. Perhaps he will look at it, being a parliamentarian, he will look at it, probably fine-tune it or edit whatever that need to be edited there, and then present that to the parliament. That's one way that it can be done. The Ministry of Education also can come up with a bill and say, we think our kids are struggling. We're delaying the progress of our kids. Instead of teaching them A, B, C, and D, and then spend 3-4 years of their first academic journeys learning how to read and write and so on, why not we use our own Mandinka language? So that they will easily understand the syllabus, or even they can, if these two things can go simultaneously.
Definitely.
Teaching English and teaching in Mandinka. There is no place you cannot do that.
We can include all, as we do in English, is an international language, but our own home language, we shouldn't let that go away. Thank you. It makes sense, my friend.
English is used internationally, but it's not an international language. They sell the idea and force it on people. And it becomes a custom to most other countries that were colonized by the British. So if you also want to introduce your own language, you can use the same method, but in a more civic way. You don't need to impose it on people, but that's their language already. Majority of Gambians can speak Mandinka, Wolof, I believe, Fula. If I am right, I think these are the most largest,
biggest tribes
in the Gambia. If I am right, I am sorry if I'm wrong. But
definitely, you are right. You are right.
Say, okay, we will just choose 4 or 3 or maybe 5 languages in the Gambia, and then we will introduce them. Maybe 2025, we start with one particular one. We introduce that for 2 years, and then we can introduce the other one. Simultaneously, all our languages will be taught in Gambia. It will be significant to the younger generation. It will also help restore our already lost languages. Our languages are fading. If
Big time.
Go to Spain and meet the Badibugas that are living there.
There's to mix Spain and Mandingo together, like, it's happening same thing. If I want to speak Mandingo, then strictly without English is hard, it's difficult, and that is bad. Definitely, we shouldn't let the roots fade away, and then we lose in our definitely. So I give you that work, as my bigger son is big now already. Please, you are a doctor, you have to introduce that. One time, either is gonna be one of the Kiang MPs out there, or one of Badibunga's MPs. One of my classmates, Suleiman Sao, and I'm in the Central Badibu. He is an MP, my ex-classmate. So we are connected. Then one has to take that to the parliament and tell them, please talk about this.
Introduce. If I am right, I stand to be corrected, but I think they do introduce a bill. The new constitution. I think the new constitution has a provision that will make it possible for parliamentary sittings to also be in local languages.
Perfect.
If I am right. Yeah.
Okay.
If I am right. But I think I have seen something like that, but I'm not certain with that. But these are things that people are talking about. I don't know whether there is a big revolution about the Mandinka language, the Nko language. Mandinko is taught in universities. In fact, one of my colleague in Vienna, Alpha.
If
you remember Alpha, Octo-TV.
Alpha, I know Alpha,
He's currently doing his PhD and he's studying Mandinka language. His PhD is centered in Mandingo language. Using the Mandinka alphabet. So there is a new wave of academic interest in Mandinka culture, Mandinka traditions, and the language itself and the alphabet.
Thank you. You are reminding me, because I met one professor one time in Vienna too. He needed some things. He'd go to Mali most of the time. Like, he's the one teaching the Vienna people, Austrian people, about Mandingo too. He's an Austrian and he speaks Mandingo. But he one time called me. He needed some translation. how we pronounce those words in Gambia in Mandingo. Then I met him and he speak Mandingo like crazy. He's an Austrian, professor. I forget the name. So it's something good and it's positive because this Swahili is far ahead there. The Wolof, I know they are taking it. Mandingo, only this one professor I met. So it's something positive. Good to hear that, something is moving. Thank you. We rely on you people, Mr. Janeh, Doctor, please.
Call me father, that will be enough.
Yeah, okay, son, no problem. Good. We left that service with you people to do that for the Senegambian people, Thank you for that great feedback. And I'm happy. I will say, let's go to the second topic. Then we are taking it from back now. We was like education, let's say unity. When it comes to unity in our community, and worldwide unity, even let's make it broader, worldwide unity. Then we come to Africa, then Senegambia. Me personally, I want to see that small nation come together. Gambia, Dakar and Banjul, we call it Senegambia. So what will be your say onto that world unity? Okay, is there, they have the United Nations and all these things, but I will say let's go Africa, because those things are not really kind of favoring us. So let's go to Africa. Unity, you think the African nation can unite? This will be my question first.
Yes, I strongly believe there will become a time when Africa will unite, Africa will work together, Africa would realize that the only way Africa can develop is when Africa work together and see each other as one big family.
Thank you.
This I strongly have no single doubt in my mind whatsoever that is going to happen. And having said that, I am not saying Africa is going to be one country. That is not possible. That is remotely impossible. But what we understand is we can have a system that will be crafted with the vision of Africa, that will unite people, that will give us one purpose, and that will give us one aspiration, and that will give us a stand within our continent in such a way that no other person will be able to come in between and cause any chaos within the continent. Because I can see a lot of brilliant young people that are coming from Africa. People that are sound-minded, they are educated, and they are able to diagnose African problem using the African way.
Wicked.
Most of the time, we made a lot of mistakes, or make a lot of mistakes by thinking people from the outside that quote unquote study African studies, and other related African history, and we see them to be experts. We source their services, and they come and still pour on us their own ideologies that are completely alien to African or African way. So these things are changing now. Young Africans are getting educated, they are getting exposed, and the spirit of Pan-Africanism is coming back again. Probably thanks to Lumumba, Professor Lumumba and the likes, who are able to come without any fear to communicate to African people in manners that they can understand. Relating issues to them that they are living every single day of their life. These have given a paved way to so many other young people across the continent. And the only objective these young people have is to see how best they can dominate the already polluted minds of most Africans that are really deterring the unity, prosperity of Africa.
Thank you. You are very right. When it comes to that, we have one talent from Senegambia to Usman Toure. I'm looking forward to have a talk with him too. It's a very natural, talented, so it's hope. I don't know, there is a hope. One day.
Definitely there is hope. And you don't even need to go far. Let's just look at what is happening in African countries now. We have African countries that have very, very strong leaders who are very transparent, they are very honest, and they speak the truth to power. And these are things that I think people that are young are looking up to. Like I just mentioned Lumumba. If you look at the Ghanaian president, you look at the Rwandan president, you look at the Tanzanian president, the late one that
rest in peace, rest in peace. Are my favorite still.
These are people that we can look up to and realize that they're not only talking, but they're representing what is best for their country. Again, we're not saying they are saints. Nobody is. Perfect. There is nobody that is perfect. There is no system anywhere in this universe that is perfect. Not the system in the United States, not the system in Saudi Arabia, not the system in the United Kingdom.
Thank you.
The difference is they're all striving to be better. They have introduced a system and they are maturing with that system. What we need to also do is, unfortunately, most of our countries do not even lay foundations yet. But we can look up to countries that have already laid foundation and they are moving slowly but surely into the right path that will be able to strengthen the capacity of their people. Educational structures are well structured. People are getting adequate and quality educations that are affordable. People are having adequate and quality health facilities at a very reasonable prices. What infrastructure is there, but the most important thing for unity is sustenance. You cannot be united if you cannot sustain yourself.
Definitely.
And these countries that we mentioned are creating a very strong population that are educated, that are well skilled, and will be able to harness the affairs of their countries should they find themselves in any challenge.
My bell, so I had to just like check who is that incoming. Thank you so much. Then we minimize it a bit. Let's go to Senegambia. Me, as a born Banjul boy, I'm like, yeah, Banjul and Dakar, we should unite as one people, because when it comes to that, the whole other African parts, countries, like you said before, cultures and, ways of life are kind of too, maybe a bit different. But when it comes to Senegambia, this is Gambia and Senegal, Banjul and Dakar, the people we have same food, same language, same culture, everything. Me, I don't see no changes between these two people, except the French and the English. So me personally, I think if there should be a unity for Africa, it should kind of start in this corner, because the people, they should kind of understand each other more easily than, if you say Gambian to understand with a Somalian, we are all African, we can understand. But culture-wise, we are kind of, there is a gap. But when it comes to Senegambia, Banjul and Dakar, culture-wise, everything, is the same. But the English and the French make us totally different people. So what will you say onto that? Do you think it's possible that we can unite this Senegambia for the whole Africa? What will be your say on that?
If I understand what you're trying to allude to is whether Senegal and Gambia can come as one country. Do I get you right?
Yeah, something like this.
Personally, I don't think that's a good idea. Personally,
okay.
I believe that Gambia is a sovereign country, and Senegal is a sovereign country, and we can be cousins without staying in one country, one compound. That does not necessarily mean that we are not cousins. That doesn't necessarily mean that we will not be doing our things together as one big family. So I believe it's very important that we are able to stay independent of each other when it comes to sovereignty, but we can come up with policies that will cement the relationship permanently. We need to be able to concrete our relationship just like it was before white man comes. The borders should only serve one purpose, just a boundary for me to know this is where my house ends and this is where your house began, but whatever I need from your house should be there for me to access, because we are one people.
Thank you. Was this border, was this boundaries there before the Europeans and the American and the Arabs come? Was this borders there before?
Okay, I am not a specialist in history, but this is what I know. If we
Thank
go
you.
back to before colonial time, we understand that we were within small kingdoms and communities. So obviously there were jurisdictions between certain kingdoms in Gambia
Areas.
that did not get to Senegal, and there are certain boundaries also that are Senegal that are not part of Gambia.
Cool.
And then we also understand that both this, arguably, because there are different narrations in history, but some believe that the Manding Kingdom had covered the entire Senegal, while some other people said, no, it does not cover the entire Senegal, but Gambia customers up to certain part were all part of it. So because I am not a historian, I will not be able to substantiate that. But one thing that we know historically is that there were demarcations. There were territories that belongs to this particular kingdom, and there were territories that belongs to this particular kingdom, even though some of those territories were in Gambia, and some of those territories were now a country called Senegal. So there have always been a boundary. What white people do is to rewrite history, meaning just like what they do, because they're very good at that. Europeans, wherever they have interest in, they will just come and divide and conquer you guys. So they went and sit in Germany, and then they just decided within themselves to say this will be the boundary. Without a presence, if I am right, there was no representation of any African leaders at a time. But they were demarcating the entire Africa. It was done by the Europeans. So we understand that that should only be a symbol to us. We should not take any precedent or add value to that borders. We can still be there. We can respect them because there are people that sacrifice their lives for Gambia to have independence. We owe those people our sovereignty, and we owe to those people to make sure the Gambia is the Gambia. But that should not undermine our relationship with our own brothers just in the next line from your own people. It does not make sense.
Thank you. So when it comes to that, I will push onto that. This is your opinion, and then everybody have their, says on that. What are the things you think we should make them easy? Like, first example, I will give you. Okay, when we say we have no kind of border control, but there is no hustling kind of, between Gambia and Senegal to make movement easier between these two countries. This could be number one thing. I will say, okay, because as a Gambian going to Senegal, your ID card and whatever, sometimes, this French, they cannot read English. Sometimes, you have to pay money here and there. Me personally, I'm like, okay, this transportation thing, like communication and transportation should be a very easy something between these two countries. And now, okay, me personally, if we can use even one money, which can be difficult, I don't know, it shouldn't be difficult, but if we can use one money between Gambia and Senegal, I think that's a thing too that will kind of connect us together more. What will be your say onto that? What are the things you think Gambia and Senegal we should share to, in common, like, it should be an easy access, or we should share these things, but like some things are there that you believe in are not to be shared, like the State House. Okay, we have to have our president in Banjul and the other president in Dakar, but they have to have very good connection to make it easier for the citizens of both countries. What are the things that you will think it needs to be done onto that?
Okay, that's a very important thing that you said. I think the example or the scenario that you give now will be very important. I think for both Gambia and Senegal to benefit from each other as through one family, the only essential thing that most of the side of the coin are complaining is access to each country. I do understand that it's very difficult and very frustrating for Gambians to travel from Gambia to Senegal, because I've experienced that many times myself. You will be asked so many times, pay unnecessary checkpoints. So that's something I think the two governments can sit back and look, because if we are able to have a true transit between Gambia and Senegal, where people can easily move from Gambia, any part of Gambia to have access to Senegal, it will be very good. It will also boost the trade relationship between the two countries. Because we are interconnected. in so many different ways. So the trade policies, I think they need to, I know the current government had introduced some very significant and progressive trade relations with Senegal, but I do believe that is one-sided for me.
Yeah.
I think there is more of a Senegalese interest than it is for Gambian interest.
Sure.
And anything for me that's unfair to me does not worth people to get involved.
Yeah.
There should be a bilateral, multi-benefit approach between Senegal and Gambia. Gambians should not ask 10 times papers before they get to Senegal. Senegalese should not be asked 10 times papers before they get to Gambia. So the flexibility between the inflow and outflow between these two countries is very important. The other thing also is the trade. Trade is very significant. Both Senegambia, if Senegambian countries prioritize the trade relationship between themselves and they intertrade, that will really save a lot of millions of dollars that we are exporting elsewhere. And I believe the same thing also will be for the Senegalese people. We have products that are very scarce in Senegal. Senegal do have other products that are very scarce in Gambia. We both need these products. And in this, you're talking about two countries that you can travel to in six hours. So restoration, for example, for horticultural products and so on and so forth, perishable products can be very processed, easily processed and easily accessible from Senegal and from the Gambia if there is a proper relationship between these two people that would be based on fair trade.
Fair trade.
So we have to look into that. But like I said, for me, it has to be two independent countries that would respect each other's sovereignty. The other relationship that I think we need to have, and it has to be on a fair scale, that's security.
50-50.
Senegal and Gambia need to have a fair relationship between their two security operators. Because if Gambia is not in peace, there is no way Senegal can be in peace.
No.
If Senegal is not in peace, there is no way Gambia can be in peace.
Gambia get flooded, man.
Yeah, we are living witness to the crisis in Casamas.
Big time.
Every week there is a tension in Casamas. The borders within the Gambia villages will be all full with Senegalese there. The same thing happened when the impasse happened in 2016, if you can remember, when all the Baribunkas left Badibu and they ran to Senegal.
No, you know, when it comes to that, we don't need to travel, you know. We don't need to travel because we are just at the other border, you know. We will just lock Kerewan and no movement. Nothing is coming in, buddy. When we lock Kerewan, we are safe.
The took everything. One of my friends said even their fowls, they have to put their fowls inside a bag.
No, for us, really, we only have one gate to close for you Gambians, and it's Kerewan Bridge. If you close Kerewan Bridge, no Gambian is passing to Badibu to go to Senegal.
On a more serious note, I think these two countries need to sustain their development. There is a need. It is a requirement for these two people to work hand in glove to make sure the two country is safe. Gambia is one of the few countries where you can move from one compound in Senegal and come to another compound in Gambia, and you think you are still in the compound that you left before. The cultural norms, values, the religious, we do have differences, opinions when it comes to religion, but it's dominantly everywhere within these two countries. So there is nothing that had, or that you can say had distinguished Gambians and Senegalese, if not the Francophone ideologies and the Anglophone ideologies. And these were strange to all of us. That's not us. It's what we just learn and familiarize ourselves to become lately. So I think we can definitely do better in trade. We can do better in exchange of human capacity also. I will tell you this.
Please.
The population of Senegal, if we look at it, I think it's about 16 million or thereabout.
Okay. I never know.
The number of students that graduate in Senegal, for example, if you go to our medical field, still we do have more non-Gambians working in the Gambian health hospitals.
Okay.
We do have them still, even though thanks to the Gambia University, they are able to produce a lot of very effective medical personnel.
Wow.
There's a difference between medical personnel and medical facilities. And whenever you talk to people about Gambians have good doctors, they will say, but the hospitals are not doing well.
Yeah.
I feel okay. There's a difference between me being, I'm a developmentalist.
Yeah.
If I should be in Gambia working with maybe, let's say, Central Statistics, or I work with GumWorks.
Yeah.
If the tools that I need to have to be able to work are not there,
Easy.
my expertise becomes nothing.
Definitely. Yeah.
I might be
It will be
productive
difficult.
where I am today because they know what I can do, and they make facilities that will make it easy for me to be able to deliver.
Right.
So I will be able to deliver. Doctors are not magicians. They are not like the Barabunka Marabus and so on, who will tell you
okay. The scientists.
Doctors are scientists. They work with materials, they work with tools, and they work with medications. So I think even the intellectual importation or exchange Senegal and Gambia could have had that can significantly help these two countries is not currently being harnessed rightly. Senegal have a lot of doctors, and most of those doctors are very good.
Sure.
Gambia, we still have fewer doctors that we need. Senegal have a lot of facilities in Senegal that are far more better than the facilities that we have. We're still struggling with those things. If these two country governments should have a relationship that is so much strong, just like it's supposed to be. Some of the issues that are happening, let's say in Gambia, probably might not. Some of the things that are also happening in Senegal might not, because we can easily interconnect and we can easily stand in for each other to be able to mitigate some of our challenges. But the political will have to be there, and the citizens also have to understand and see each other as equals, respect each other as independent, sovereign people, but we are all the same blood and the same fire.
Thank you.
That's what I believe Senegal is.
Good
Senegal.
one. You make me think again, and then we will walk it that way to say that, okay, if you want to make it a one president, this will be a difficult something, but we need to make everything else easier between these two countries, the people between these two countries. We have to work on that. That's the communication, the transportation, and then, the governmental system, how it works, like you say, exchange of education, exchange of working personnels and all should be happening. So me personally, I will form a youth organization that will be legally in Dakar and legally in Banjul, because we need that freedom of movement. With our ID card, we don't need no police to stop us and say, yo, you from Banjul, say, or you from Dakar. So that is one of my concepts. When I'm ready, I will come to the doctors, and then we forward it to the parliamentarians, and then I think Rasta will soon come. It will be our president or in the parliament. And I would test you. I won't come to that to say, okay, because you name like Ghana president, we are like Uganda is doing good, Tanzania president, rest in peace, doing good. They will continue his work, We have few African presidents now doing good, but unfortunately, you don't call none of our Senegambian presidents. Well, we will reach there. We need changes 2021 in that corner too for the people, because the world is moving.
For me, I'm not a politician, I'm a developmentalist.
Thank you.
I only give credit to people that deserve it. The reason why I do not call Senegambian presidents, because to be quite honest with you, they are not delivering. Both Macky Sall and President Barrow are not delivering.
No.
I can appreciate to some extent the challenges that President Barrow faced is completely different from the one Macky Sall is facing. Macky Sall have an easier ride than President Barrow have. Because in development, you cannot be able to, let's say, criticize things if you don't put them in their right context. Everything is context. If you remove a Kianka and you put him into a Baribuka context, you will not be doing justice to him, because he's a Kianka. He needs his mono in the early mornings.
Thank you. Right.
We are looking for Nankatang and something like that. The Kianga is there with the mono. That's the
You
reality.
see? Sarahule with the Bundunyake. I hear you.
Yeah, you see.
Definitely.
But, in a more serious note, the Senegambian president need to do far more than they are doing. I think we are far low at the bottom when it comes to the index of development in Gambia. Senegal is far ahead of us, to be quite honest. And the sad thing is, I listen to most of our brothers and sisters in Gambia who are supposed to be the sound minds of our society, who are supposed to make policies, who are supposed to drive the aspiration of our developmental inspirations. But if you listen to the mindset, sometimes you wonder whether these people truly understand what development is.
Sure.
Yes, you will hear a minister, or a politician saying, if I am elected, I will build a road. If I'm elected, I will build a school. If I'm elected, I will build this, I'll build this. But it's very few of these people that you will hear that talks about the most important thing, the most integral part of development, which is human capacity development.
Okay.
It's
not
like
education, but human capacity development.
Human capacity building is the most important element for sustainable development.
Thank you.
I will give you a typical example.
Please.
President Jammeh, some time before the AU, 2006, built a lot of roads in Gambia, including the Coastal Road, right?
Right.
Do you know the condition of Coastal Road now?
No.
It's bad.
Okay.
Do you know why? There are a lot of factors why it's bad. But from the aspect of the sustainable development, one of the things that we can relate to easily is because there had not been any succession plan. We build structures using experts from France, from China, from India, and from America to come and build a structure.
Yeah.
And they will supervise the construction of this particular structure. And after 2 years, 3 years, they will go back to their respective countries and they leave you with the burden of maintaining that structure without leaving you with any human capability to be able to maintenance those things. So the culture of maintenance does not exist in Gambia. What we do is we robocoply build structures and expect them to maintenance themselves.
It cannot.
And that's the reason why we keep on taking loans to do the same job every other 5 years.
Thank you.
We will take a loan and build, but it was a road.
After 5 years,
that will come. We'll also have to take the same loan to build the same road, because we do not build the human infrastructure that will be able to see that those particular roads are able to live their life span without having to have an abrupt damages. And only through consistency in maintenance things that will be able to give you that durability. But we don't do that. And we keep on doing the same thing. The President Barrow's government will tell you, we build this road, and this road, and this road. But they don't even have the human capacity that will be able to supervise those ones. They don't have a normal, regular routine to be able to go conduct surveys on those particular roads.
Thank you.
You remember Indiana?
Definitely.
You will see them.
Summer, they do maintenance every summer.
Every other time you will see them. They are observing. They don't wait until it's damaged. Then it will cost a lot of money before they can come and repair it. They'll make so when it starts, they already have a solution to it. But you need experts to know it's starting.
Big time.
Definitely. You need experts that will look at a road that is normal to me and you to say, oh, this road is damaging because of X, Y, Z. And then he will then look for people that will come and maintenance that particular portion before it causes a lot of damage. But in Gambia, we only react. We are not proactive. We react to situations. We do not think beforehand when we are doing anything. And as a result, we keep on repeating the same mistakes, and we are wasting taxpayers' money. That's the reason why I don't mention their names, because to me, they are not doing much for now.
So you don't have to call names, but right now we have like not less than 10 candidates, presidential candidates from Gambia, going to stand for this coming election. did you see a little hope? Don't tell me any name then, but do you see a little hope, some inside that 10, at least 1, 2, you think maybe if they come in, we can start moving? Did you see something like that inside?
Yes, there are progressive candidates.
Thank you.
That are currently vying for the presidency in Gambia. However, most of those that I personally will say progressive. I have before I answer this question, I think it's important for me to put this across of you. Perhaps you might already come across of it in October. My thesis, my PhD thesis, centered around sustainable development through youth political engagement.
Thank you.
I believe that the only solutions to African problem is when young people take leadership. I believe that based on facts, before every African to see, everybody that is more than 60 years old have never been a solution to African continent. We have never had any leader that is progressive that is more than 60 years old.
Thank you.
All the Africans that did well in Africa when it comes to development, when it comes to agriculture, when it comes to education, when it comes to health, they were all
Thank you. Strong and fit. Thomas Sankara and Kwame Nkrumah.
Kwame Nkrumah, all of them were young people because young people are naturally progressive. So for me, that's the sad part of the Gambian political arena. If you look at all the Rasulas, majority of them are all old people.
Sure.
You cannot use 1970s problem you want to solve a 24th century problem. It's not even in Balibu, it won't work there. So we have to be realistic to ourselves. I think some of these old politicians, we owe them respect. They've done their part, they've tried, but they need to also understand that their sons and daughters are matured and graduated. They are able to do more and better than they can do. They should take a back seat and let these young people come forward and be there as parents will be. Guide them wherever you think they are going morally wrong. But you cannot compare them with people that are educated, experienced, and young. They understand what today dictates. They understand the language of this generation. They understand the problems of this generation. They can use science to determine what they want to do for their people. They will not be there to see culture, what somebody wants to hear or what somebody likes to hear or whatever. They will be there based on facts and proof of policies that will work and will bring in direct or in some instances long-term impact on people's life. But that's unfortunately lacking in the Gambia. But to be quite honest, there are progressive ones. I think it will take maybe 2, 3 elections before some of those people can make it. But slowly, each of these parties, is it United Democratic Party, is it PDOIS, is it NRP, all the parties in Gambia, there are very sound young people that are there. Sure. If they give chance to those young people, they will develop their country.
Young
they will
ones,
develop our country for us.
Thank you.
But the old ones, I think their retirement had long overdue.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we need young leadership in the whole Africa. That is, that's the way forward. Thank you. Good thing. Naturally, we just enter in the development as we are talking. We just, it all connected. This unity, education, and development. So is the first one for the topic called development. Let's make it a bit broad. Let's go to Africa now. That will be the last part of our conversation tonight. Normally, the hour is past, but I will say, please excuse me for 10 minutes. We can try to talk about development. What do you think, Africa? Okay, first will be like, okay, do you think Africa has a way out to be developed in these coming years? Or what are the things we should do to be developed? What will be your say on that?
Africa have one of the greatest potentials when it comes to development than any part of the world. Because Africa is fresh and Africa is still fertile. But I think one of the things that I always emphasize, particularly on my lectures, I emphasize the need for Africans to kick out anything that is related to American interests, anything that's related to United Kingdom interests, Anything that
you are there.
Particularly,
Sorry.
anything that is related to the French interest. These people have to be kicked out completely. Africa needs to rely on itself and structurize Africa already, and then call these people into a negotiating table and have a fair and progressive African perspective relationship with these mighty powers. It should have to end. It should have ended long time if we only learn from the history. The colonial implications in Africa and the continuous looting of African resources. So long that is in existence, our development will be impossible.
Sure.
And we will not be able to stop that if we do not put our houses together first as Africans. I understand that we live in a so-called global world where almost everything is interconnected, but there is no way that you cannot be a fair player in a global world.
No.
But no other part of the world is trading with Africa fairly.
Sure.
Like Professor said, he said Africa is a cake on a dining table. Everybody is taking a slice. But unfortunately, we are offering our slices some cases. We ourselves are offering slices to other people. We complain about the European influences. Now we are now getting into the Chinese influence.
Big time.
It was Europeans that were looting Africa, but now we not only give European access, but we also selling ourselves to the Chinese looters. How do we then
putting them in our governments?
They own some of our countries if you look at it. Look at the situation in Kenya, in Zambia. You know, where the ports, the airport, and some other parastatals are controlled by the Chinese because of the One Belt policy. And I think it's high time so people understand the importance of parliamentary elections. I will directly speak to Gambians. We need to understand the significance of parliamentary elections. If the country does not have a good parliament, you cannot develop. Even if you have whichever president, even Thomas Sankara should be the president of Gambia. If Gambian people's mind did not change, if our attitudes did not change, if we do not have progressive, fair, and sincere parliamentarians, he will fail worse than Jawara and Yahya Jammeh.
Wow. Thank you. Inimbara. So that Gambia, as you reach out, what do you think are the things we need to do to get a sustainable development, you know? Like we don't have to depend on Western helps and, you know, whatever, through our agriculture or our tourism, we can be sustained. Our economy should be fine. What are the things you will add on to that? Yes, Mr. Janeh just gone, you know, through this internet, but he's soon coming. But in the meantime, between time, that's the last part of our I will come and tell you some more before we go. Yes, I remember tomorrow I will bang our presidential candidate, Rasta presidential candidate. Inimbara, kaya inimbara.
Sorry.
Mbala ngila time ota so asake yalo European time o kutadulal to why bitung. Let's try to cut it short and that development part about Senegambia. Yeah, what are the things you think we need to do to get it done?
I would want to speak that in Mandinka so that many people can also understand what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Gambia no follow ila kumokono eko ila ni bidiamo be sunding fensa bale kan wolon nyato tati yiriwa.
Thank you.
Kambe ngoni nyomoyo.
Thank you.
Mbe wo fulo mbe wo leta landila myo kan kambe ngoni nyomoyo.
Abaraka
kambe ngoni nyomoyo mo ko kuma balti me alonko iboka tano development oboka keno ning hada madingol sondo mo manke kilomita. Haning so kono nal beje nal manke kan kilomita. Allah sola yiriwa ka kole abake.
Thank you.
Bawo kankilia aning alala de maro e manke kilomita bari nakita nyola bake.
Thank you.
Ko ning ko nga Gambia yirwandino urun to mama nyoli bata menke fata ko mfanyoli bata menke e fata ko no njol kana bata ko na fa ko ndingol yo ke njol fango la daji ko nyanta wala falin
baraka
banko buka fande dano president membe sirim banko kan abuka banko de dano ko moleti mi a lonko a fe ko nyande tala nyame aka woletande modul nakita mo kendoti o kuwol sikke ku kendoti nakita mo barakantawti o ko sikke ku barakantam dum ba nim banko moluye fangolong banko moluye fonyo ka ko nin jibe nin jusola bari ka ko jibe nin hakilola ya ko sonson nin hakilo o bitilo mo gambia la problem bati mo bebe kamfaring mo bestu mo be kuyaring mo be korontoring koronto dum atani fengo fen tata nyola wo buka keno yirwati parce que keno tilkini yirwati bara buka keno yirwati menkame me anun ala ya ken dina dum kan kare fayo kono nin kare fayo kumata barkat nin kare fayo fanan kumata baken
okay muna kuma yani
nte man patite gambia nte kan support nte patite gambia
dafa man pati sotona
mela fikam
why president na independent rasta candidate le na rankata le juwe na kadiamo why man pati sotona
para mba faran juwe kan nte man ndate pati futo nana da mantra pati mantra gambia nte nana da kira dame
wow
nen karde fayo sita inata yekumol fonye ila fani asete la toñati melon ko le ka sia politicien on kon nim man la fi fani afal politicien o ka fo mbe bungolo le arjana ata ate fon yalon ka kata jahannama
thank you
so wala mu jama jikoti ma fo be wala nyama bar wala jama jikoti bar gambien wala nyanta mello na wala ko man saya anen carte fayo manya na kala modi ko nganyen kari lonne do namu teri kilinda malti wala nambe carte fela ni teri manke moti membe banko sambala nyaado kana carte faya amon teri atina kari mo jolati nte mo jolati be carte fela e bawo namu jolati ni la jola ala man sayake mo sambala nyaado kana carte faya kari mo mandin koldi kari mo fulaldi kari mo nyineti wo be manyan na kala mola sumoti pour que carte di mola
thank you
mo fanan ku kelim fanan be ko fo jama abuka dia mo jamali dolla bankol kam molbe je men yalon ko woli amere tol ale da man sala kam ndol nyande kala man saldi ndol ngani na sacrifice dang ni o fonte nga fo la wumu kuma ken sengol e ko yemen sacrifice dulal lebe gambia men koleata ina man taje RVT he katara nori ne je buka senaya ina man tawde sacrifice je ye fitaro ke je tinete woto ni dare sacrifice ta kata fitaro la RVT he without salary tineteje fo ala ya dam male bi jani baraka bar niaje kete politicien tinele beje
thank you
ngakal nyonene kumo bula milla fana banko ta nyaato fo to nyaaye fo ngamolu korosi nin kari tilata wala korosi wo kari abete dingol la sama abo miran wala ban fo nata be kala la ko modol ka kenyame ni to nata budi to la family be kita man satite to foire ala dron mbanyole kolongo sing ye nako bi fangol kolongo sing nako ye jiol bije ye nak fengol doku ibuka wa fit la fonction no kabirin jawra la time hanibi
billahi hanibi
ko le nyanda ka continue all the time tol bama ñu nyanta to batari na doro
no
ba temma sabu fon tol fango jikola manke jawra la problem te amanke ya jamila problem te amanke adama barol problem te gambia no lom gambia la problem te kan dakari to nyalla nin to nyaabe ila bungo koto e ko mu faniyan nabe mo la bungo de ko lon to nyaata corruption o be la bungo no ye kulli corruption bari ye de o fe e kata mo la corruption o chori ite be siri ila dimbayal ila sako badibu o ka akasiaje baki ika badibun ka baje
afo
nto wala ko but let's say 40 years na ko roke kebalde ala muso si sefa ay si se tabi faye dia ay si se ina fena si se karakle mu mebe abo ke lo ke ko
okay
dindingol nying wala ko mal talala ye dingol karade tilimbali ala kabiringi dindimma boyna ko sadi ko be tilinna
atetilin nola next time may invite la na janne ko tenke and that will be Kiang and Badibu, okay? I will tell you the history. Really, it's interesting, Bilai. Thanks for your this time and energy and teachings, you know, lecture. I cannot pay you for that, my brother, for this. And then I will say you have a line in my history book here, you know, this one talks. So you are my first doctor to have an interview with, Mr. Janeh, my big son. So it's a big pleasure for me. Anything you want to, yeah, send out to the listeners out there, those watching now and those will watch later. You can, yeah, give us some feedbacks or any positive message you have for the rest of the world and to the Senegambia out there will be a blessings, definitely.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would say thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed the time. And like I usually used to tell you in Vienna, I said you are one of the few hardworking Badibunkas I know.
Where you go?
We all have a
I told you I will bring you for that topic. I don't want to go deep on that because we are always the fathers and that cannot change because of Corona. Okay, so let's go.
So we all have a part to play. Everyone in this world is here for a purpose. We have a diverse approach because we are different in our nature. But together we can all do our little quarters and that will form the big picture that will benefit everybody. So continue this hard work. It's really good. You're representing Gambia very well there because you're hardworking, which is very good. Regarding the subjects, particularly peace.
Peace, yeah.
I always used to say peace will only be attained if we treat each other fairly.
Thank you.
If I am able to see you as a human being first before any other thing. If we are not fair to each other, we will not be able to sustain peace in this world. Because at the end of the day, we all want to strive and we all want to live in harmony. So that's very important for my Gambian brothers and sisters. 2021 is definitely going to be one of the loudest years in our election histories.
Wow.
But let's understand, at the end of the day, we're all one big family. Regardless of who you choose, vote respectfully, and then stay home, enjoy when you win, and then prepare for the next election when you lose. Because at the end of the day, we're just one big brothers, and politics is not supposed to be a division for us. It should strengthen us because we all have different philosophies and different ways that we think Gambia have to go forward. So on that note, thank you very much for inviting me. May the Almighty bless all of us, and may everlasting peace reign everywhere.
Amen. I don't finish yet. I will say, what are your plans for Senegambia now? What are your plans? Are you ready to return back and work for the people? Because we need people like you, your ideas, and then, you know, we need your service out there. So what are your plans when it comes to that, if it is not too private for you right now?
No, it's okay. We are, I am home because when I finished my PhD in Vienna, I went back home. I was in Gambia. And we established back our company that was before closed. And we did a lot of services, communication, business, agro business. We're also getting into education. We've applied for a university. We have a temporal approval. They call it provisional approval. So we are working on modalities to make sure we meet the requirements to be able to have the full license in the coming, let's say in the coming year. Due to COVID-19, so many plans have been slow, But so basically, we are still in Gambia. We're still there.
Before you go further, can I understand that well? Are you saying you trying to make another university in Gambia or a program inside the university?
Yes, we applied to have a full-fledged university.
Wow.
That will be called Knowledge City, Serekunda Knowledge City University.
Wicked. Why you don't call it Badibu Knowledge City is University? You call it Serekunda.
Going to school, you know.
Okay.
But
wow, that's interesting.
Maybe the next one we can talk about the Baribunga trade.
Thank you. So it's a must, you know. You don't go out, you leave Papa home, you want to go out. It's not fair.
We already applied for the university. We already have the temporal lancing, which they call the provisional lancing. It comes with certain conditions that we have to meet, after which we will then be issued the full lancing, and we will be operating a technical university. Because we believe that, like I said, Giving people thousands of books does not make them anything. Give people skill. Skill is what moves countries. So we are coming with a technical university where technical courses, technical professions are going to be taught there. We want to also give precedence to technology and also science, because these are the future of the generation.
Thank you.
So we're in Gambia. I might not be there every other day, but we have a full team there. I think about 11 to 12 people that are currently there working on the ground. And then we are growing gradually.
It's a company name, or it's an organization or association? How will you call it, your team?
It's a company. It used to be my company personally since 2006. Then it was called Better Future Production. But now it's called Better Future Group. Because it has different elements that is it engaged in. So we changed the production to group.
Thank you.
So you'll be hearing from us very soon.
Thank you. We're looking forward to that. Another university for Gambia. That's some bigger projects you are involved in. So all the best, all the way. Apart from Bakar Dabo, and you are the next maybe Fatu Kamara. We have to count just few. I cannot know the rest, you know. Yeah, what I'm very happy.
Only Fatu Kamara is enough for the entire body.
Really? Okay.
For all of you.
Wow, this is wonderful. Really, to be honest, you inspired me, my brother. Like, okay, knowing that myself, that was never to my knowledge that a citizen can draft something and then pass it to a parliamentarian, and this can come to be a law for our country when the people or the government accept it. It's something that I get, I get informed myself today from you. So I will say thank you very much. And on that topic, we have to forward it, because I have to push you people, the doctors and the professors in Gambia, bring in the Mandingo and the Wolof and the Fula inside, and any other local language possible. We have to learn our own, and with these skill centers, you people, skill university, technical university, we don't need to learn language. With our Mandingos, we can come technically and then, do things, create and invent, So it's a good something. I'm proud of you. You see that energy when you have a good son, then I'm good. Thank you so much for your time and energy. If you have something to add on, feel free. I'm good. I have time personally. You gave me time 1 hour. That's why I'm like, let's deal with it. But already we are 1 hour 30. So, but still, we can talk till morning. There's always something to say and positive. Some people like you, you already make the research and the readings. Look behind you, readings. You read lots of books. Personally, we call it street side knowledge. It's the people we deal with, the people we talk with, things we see and say that give us the kind of idea how to move on. But you people are reading, so it's in a both level, reading and seeing. You are ahead. So anything you have for the listeners out there before you go, my pleasure, Doctor.
Street education is very good. It's a very good way of knowing society, particularly when you are into social science. Perfect. So I want to believe that current silo kan afanan kumara baken. It depends on silo. Yalo silo ka taka blabi akafan bele karam.
Adia mo.
Pwede mabe gele puri mabe. Ya ono kan. Pwede puri silo la wasi ke problem wade. But me akende ma karam fana wafana ka ika cool bondi nyoka fana.
Why malal tolle la baake fonde to aw karan din ngol yum ko malal tolle le ka tolle ka be du nyoko men ka bu ko yele
To some extent ma follow mu tonyal de bawo yaje Africa dun nyoko na dawda to am karan wala dum ni but at the end of the day ngamero don ning ala be de ma don ning giso nyabuta don ngalon control len kilingot Gambia bi momo platform so pour kadiamu ngamero one of the things nyanta men diamu la baake wolon Cairo e sabati na bankoka na banko de abatale molu junta nyokono baake le mfuto to nyoye be killing a Muslim, a Christian, a Mandinka Fula Jola, Karoninka, and Tul Bedun the Yokono. Nuala Mealonko, Yemen Yellow Boy Cape on Yellow. Yemen Kadef came on the Kadef. Yemen Tony came on the Tony. kana son politician o yedum tema kana son mol la kunna mira kensa mo me alon ko anin proof manna aramadimo ale hakilo dila pour yekol tenten yakuma moy kana kidi ka kida kan ko sa jol nimbal ka kenama ite manke woti mo aramadimo te pour ye mira nin ko ni yake abe nafa sotlante le bam abe nyin kari to la ba wala nyin kari wala na en nafa bi sama ben nafa la ba ni o keno ngajen to len kinote hadamade man timma mote duniya men timmata mo nanata sotla duniya men timmata mo nana mo soto men timmata ni o fo dina lo na do kafe Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam timmata Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam timmata tolle fe hadamade ngol kono atele timmata wol bete but he's still a human being. Yes, sir. Muhammadun batharun la kal bathar. Meaning Muhammad is a human being, but unlike ordinary human beings. You cannot remove the element of human there.
No.
So, Jolbe Muhammad second to be Jamano. Jol Nasita Bakelem, Hakilul Mayiriwa, Nakol Siata, but in Ning Nanyo, Nene, Nayamfanyoe, Nabalafanyoe. Many alonke ku jaw baleke bankuru kam menu si balafano e alhamdulillah balafe mem mam balafano yessi ye tempum ye loi bat aw banko fana ye loi soto men ka banko samba so ni alaya ni men sabata no wobete ata bat nak yalon toñandirla hani alay chancela na diata e balafa na diata kana balafa bara ko ni men balafa wala diata te so ite men ye toñe sa ite la baji bela fo la fe balafa ni alay ke kilimote bawon na Gambia ka fole fema fem ko tol mo muslim wol
yes sir
hani ngata bari ko le ci ara ko dina muslim wol
ha do ko leng
sungaro go
sungaro alhamdulillah te wanda kayro ko no ciyankoli be salbure so wala tili saba alawani do ko
so Gambia do mala be jodo ngata hakilo do ngalum tollem kilimote mistake on men keta mol bulu ni yam fate no alhamdulillah nimma yam fe na loi bula ay do ko kina kulu na jikol fale
thank you
dol dammalle be ñoo tiñatan dol dammalle be ñoo kasara kan ñing suñarol ni ñi mo fal men fo be siar na banko kam mi aron ko buka fa xamno akam da police ke banko men ka kam da soldier de banko men ka meni ka faaje mbari musollom meni ka faaje mbari kellem bañollem fañollem binkiñollem wol dammalle ka faaje luntangol buka fa men siar so ni mo beketa police odi mo be ya hakiloto mo be ya je ko kari yelo ninte yo bekele na ka be ka ba
yeah
ko fi jamal be jewol be bulala
thank you ni ko ni mobe mo police odi yalon ka wala fo ni moli jam ko ni moli be mo police odi donc every citizen should be a police for your country, you know. It makes security.
No, police odi but open-minded police odi, not selective police.
Thank you. Okay.
Ni tonyalati faniamu faniati don men mu tonyati ngota men mu faniati ngotuje ni mobe mo tora kandamen don isi men keno je within the confinement of the law loi ya fanyama yo topado ani mo nyata men fanam budala men be siari mbake sain andu requirements ko bala fa warta bake ye mona sunyaro mo fenede men haramta konta jawyata bake mo banyana do yandila to any level mo manyana sunyaro ke bari ndema mem fahamno mo na ya sunyaro la aliya mudalal pareta aliya restrain already maybe aliya sitile wala so wala aliya group wal jama baate kanano alkana o muta ko denki ka bute dol ka ka pendru
luwabe je
ko barama luwal beje ite mari kana haji kalo social media e ko gambe police jawyata ite ni gambe police juma jawyata
ite ta jawyata luwabe wulo ko na diya masira
yesu mutal ay sunyaro me ko mambete am mo manyana entertain bara ay sunyaro me atina mambete ya luwale ko mambete ya do luwa kilo ko ni yesu mo mute manyana butel ite ni wosu be luwa tinan bani police na the mall arrest e butel beba for la police brutality police this but we are even more brutal sometimes than the police
yeah
so fonga hakko nyam wonde men society ka dindi wol karandi mudala nyoti limbalia billahi mo mutala already amang kana mutata la sitita abula police on manda nana ya muta ya samba ni mambala fa ya samba kitula ni kite ya muta ya soro luway wala fo bari kam mako ngama nyamen bi mo be kamfari ngalon ko banko be koleari ne pol mon sone yam be wolon ne bar ning ko be na kamfa jin la ñoo ka te bete yalla benn banko ti ñaanal rek dindingol be kara diko la minimum bete yalla so many alien behaviors are happening in Gambia bu ka fa xam no social media jibe
yes sir
kamun dan kameri jibe Nigerian female
real life
Nigerian female those are not Gambian reality
sure
ismu muta ya molka denka city faka kudeka ika chika
yes sir
abe kom e ko ne sadio fa ibita abusule ka kenan
oh
ada mano kuma to ti baken how mano is important these are the same people that work TRRC ani ba fula control malon ko Gambian soldier na ne nyinkel wala soldier carrier nyinkel but you are doing the same thing kididetable sembutable
yes sir
imagine ite man sembu so e ka mo ke wanyama ninga soldier kido ditala wala police kido ditala ba muneka
billahi ibe mo be far
so we have to preach what we practice or practice what we preach pour la society sitano nyato na bala fa ñoy nga hina ñoma ningi na ñoma fa suñar me saw dol bi stop la
billahi
ko na siata suñaro ka ken do ko bali ana siata banko kan
baage fa on dum billahi wo weje
mo la sarali naman siya ilmu man karande so ko nga fa ñame barum ga keba na dindinga ada makile si sebe don
adiya mo
ya dindinga dal ni kulus suwa e kay ko men ka tan men wolo ni be ñaato yala itele ñanta all the good things so
sure
is that not the case alpha is for dindinga ni alpha jumala fa sulata
mo be ñanta do mala normally ka fa le dindinga fa wala be do yare wala ñanta do mala way ci kol ka
bi daga wi do studio de sa ite si se karakli mo be dom sa ila woddingo wala tata karam mutuwa karam mura karanda na take adama baroti bi iko be tilinda
ata easy
la karam ni wala kabra dindiya wade
cewa
abu ko yalla de nin la fatirmo la don fo nga attitude le falling follow même mam bete am be aje ka mam bete nimbe bala fala no yakanga ke bar nga cindi ka mam bete nga tano nga nyotete no nga jikol ko fo e sene ani wonden nga jawara blem jane 30 years amam fenk nga ayaja me blem ko 22 years amam fenk adama baro bala 4 years ko non kamam fenk malo jumala dina momo bi na telebe wosla adama baro tin ning dol famo man hakilo falling nga mako ka do go
sure
ata mako ko wala amam possible so me ko say thank you na kudol so nyanta mene kala bari ala dingo la ko wala saburo
baraka desan nga appreciate billahi nga baraka ba alama alejo time on you know nga the energy and this positive message educational is highly appreciated. So alama ale dema the whole career lafta la nyamen kai let it go on, you know, and you're doing good, so big respect. We are looking forward to hear that second Gambia university in the Gambian history is a blessing, you know.
There are many universities in Gambia.
Really?
Yes, I think.
How many university?
I don't have it off head, but I know locally many are on the classes taken already in Gambia. They will be up to maybe 4 or 5.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But there are other ones also that are online universities that are operating in Gambia.
In Gambia?
Yes.
Interesting. Good to know. Okay. So there are other structures different with the Gambia main university. There's other schools.
There is one, I think, is called Legacy University.
Wow.
There is American University also there.
Wicked. Okay.
Yes, and there are
I'm late. I'm not informed, so thank you. Good to know that we don't check on the educational part more.
It's going to be competitive, but we're looking forward to that competition.
Wow, big time. Good. Thank you. Good luck. And then it's something different. Technical is not there. And then it's a good something. We are full of skills and talent. So
definitely,
if you bring that, we will produce lots of talents and skills for the rest of Africa or the rest of the world. It's a good something. I wish you all the best on that project, my brother. And all the best on your career. Where are you pursuing now? After doctor, where are you going? Doctor?
No. Now I'm going to do the Badunga style. I'm looking for money now.
I
have to work now.
That's not a problem. Badimunga will employ you out there. So my Badimunga people will see our big song.
Research projects here and there, but I'm more working now.
Wow, thank you. Good thing. The Gambia is, we need people like you. So there will be lots of space for you out there. All the best, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a great pleasure for me. Thanks for the time and energy. I will invite you again. It's gonna be Kiam versus Badibu, and then invite some Kiankas come in, and then but this one, yeah, educational part. I salute.
You have to invite the Badibunka professors so that we can have the Kianka debate.
All right, you go to history. You have to prepare yourself on that, more. Because you cannot change history, and if you wanna do this, you have to be more creative,
No worries, that day you will know, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All the best. Thanks for the time and energy. Highly appreciated, my brother. I will be talking with my Rasta brother tomorrow, Honorable Bangi, independent presidential candidate for Gambian next election. I would love you, doctor, to listen to, and tell me later. I will communicate with you. You tell me your opinion, and you can send us questions. We need to hear from people like you. If you have time, tune in tomorrow. These are the two programs. You, Dr. Janeh, alongside Mr. Bangi, will be my second guest, and then I continue with my music program, but I started with educational, and I'm very pleased to have you two people for a start. In the future, I will be doing it time to time, but more my thing is on the musical side, so I will be going with my music, but we're gonna check on you people back. So I'm looking forward to talk to you in the future again with Jawoks.
Okay, thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
I salute. Hello to the whole family out there. Take it easy with the salo. Huh? Don't eat too much. Blessings. Thank you, all beautiful people. Thank you all for Let's talk. We start that next week. Next weekend, I will be with the man called Little Hero and another lady singer from Jamaica. So keep tuning. Let's start. But tomorrow, remember, we get Bangi, Gambian independent. Next election in December, Bangi gonna be with me live and direct. So you tune in. In case you don't know, that was Dr. Janeh, all the way from Senegal, doing good educational parts. Thank you all for your time and energy, you beautiful people, your comments and your support. We say love and respect. See you back tomorrow. I'll be here live and direct 6 p.m. Tune in, don't miss it. Yeah, I'm gonna stop it right there. Have a great evening anywhere. Stay blessed.